my 31M-X-26F, and I broke up about 5 years ago. She cheated on me and slept with another man, and so I broke things off. She has since moved on and has been in a couple relationships since. Every year or so, she reaches out to me and asks me things about our past and why I said things that I can't even remember saying, or why I did things that are incredibly insignificant. For example, she once asked me why I would sit in my car for a few minutes when I get home from work. So fast forward to this week. She messages me and asks questions about our past relationship, and so I finally kind of broke. I wasn't angry, but I did say, I honestly hope you can find peace within yourself to move on from the past. And she responded by saying I was being condescending and giving her pity talk. AITA? AITA for destroying embryos we were going to give to a couple we viewed as friends after they dissed us. So, a couple of years ago, my husband and I had a child via surrogacy. We had 5 top-grade embryos frozen after delivery of our child. We did not have intention of having another child, so we wanted to gift these embryos to a couple who we viewed as friends until recently. We are open about our experience with surrogacy, which is as close to a textbook case of perfection as IFE can come. We are extremely thankful, and we realize this is an outlier. Decision for IVF to healthy birth was only 15 months, which included everything, including surrogate search and vetting. While having no previous relationship, the surrogate and her family and our family have become very close. We stated that we would like to gift the embryos to a couple who would otherwise be unable to have a family. So this couple, who were casual acquaintances who we'd OD consider friends, became a possibility. Let's call them Greg and Karen. Through whatever means, we were connected and discussed this possibility. The initial discussion was about whether they were interested, and if they were, we could talk about details and hopefully come to an arrangement. There was no commitment made. To protect ourselves, every interaction was recorded, and we were careful about words used under the guidance of our legal counsel. We asked for them to have legal representation, and for their counsel to reach out to ours if they wanted to continue discussions on finalizing an agreement. As life can be with a new child, we spent time as a family and hosted/attended fewer such social gatherings/events. So, it turns out that this couple has a very different political ideology than we do. While we disapprove of a specific elected politician, they essentially worship this politician. Believe it or not, we had no idea this was the case beforehand, as we always had non-political social interactions with them. Greg and Karen began telling people the deal was finalized. They had began appointments at a fertility clinic, and Karen was taking IVF hormones. Even more surprising, they were telling people they are glad the deal was finalized so they would never have to us again, stating we were horrible people who don't deserve a child because of our political beliefs, but we're glad to get free embryos. We had multiple friends who recorded rants on several occasions and provided them to us. One rant suggested they should make an anonymous tip to Child Protective Services so our child could be taken away. And even if that didn't make it that far, we would be extremely inconveniences. We consulted with our legal counsel, and we made the decision to instead destroy the embryos instead of gifting them. We immediately filled out the paperwork and began the process to have them destroyed. The next time their legal counsel reached out, our counsel told them the embryos were destroyed, and as such, there would be no agreements on gifting the embryos. We thought this would be the end, and we made sure to have no further contact with Greg or Karen. Due to changes in our lives, we were about to move far away, and there would be no reasonable situation where we would ever run into each other. Well, after loading up our moving truck and doing final walkthrough before pulling out, we received a court summons. Greg and Karen are suing us. They are suing us for breach of contract, theft/destruction of their property, claiming we had an oral contract and the embryos were theirs, loss of wages due to fertility treatments, medical costs for fertility treatments, pain and suffering/emotional distress, and punitive damages. We presented the filing information to our legal counsel, along with recorded evidence and the contact information of friends who notified us of those incidents, who were more than happy to help us. And our legal counsel believes there is no case, but it will cost a lot to litigate, and advised us to countersue. Otherwise, we'd be on the hook for our own legal costs. Also, without embryos in their possession, Karen should not have started hormone treatments for IVF. Anyway, this is not about the legalities, which we are confident are on our side. When Greg and Karen started bad-mouthing us and claiming they had our embryos, AITA for having them destroyed to prevent dealing that couple, or an even worse scenario, AITA for wanting to cancel Christmas at my house, especially this late. AITA for wanting to, or if I actually do, cancel Christmas at my house, this late in the game, 3 days before. I love Christmas. I'm a Christmas person. However, I'm very pregnant, very overwhelmed, and very tired. We were planning on doing Christmas brunch at my house this year, hosting both my family, mom/sis/nephew, and in-laws, including SIL and MIL. For context, none of us live far from one another. I'm just so tired and there's so much to do, and I've lost all Christmas spirit and drive. For one, I am working 2 jobs right now trying to save and pay off debts before baby comes. I still have to do my registry. We have house renovations that are still not done, BC. I have to do all the organizing and ordering of everything. I have a ton of assignments at work. And of course, my 2 colleagues are off this week, and they slacked on something calling me this morning to add it to my list before the holiday, on top of my own responsibilities. The house has to be cleaned, and I need to go shopping for food. I'm exhausted and don't have the bandwidth. On top of that, there's some legal items I'm now taking care of for my in-laws that need to be handled ASAP since my husband did not. I don't feel like having people over. I don't feel like having everyone in my space. I'm exhausted, overworked, and am really just not getting any relief. Of course, now my husband offers to help and asks me to make a list of things he needs to do, but that still takes so much mental load that I simply don't have the capacity for.